Good morning, Andrew.
Morning, Simon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How's
Hope
your
you.
week been?
Yeah, well, yeah, not too bad. So I didn't sleep particularly well last night. I hope you slept better than me. But yeah, managed to find a couple of winners in the column for Gigi and 8 to 1 yesterday in Ireland. It was the angle was looking for horses who ran well from off the pace at Listowel's Harvest Festival where you were
Ah,
last week. Six day extravaganza, and I think every single race was won by a horse that was in the first two or three throughout, whether it was flat or jumps. So yes, yesterday's horse was one called Mowgli, who'd finished fifth of 15. I think we've already had something like four or five winners come, run again after being given patient rides at Listowel have come out and won since. That's worth a meeting worth going back and having a look for sort of horses who finished in mid division under hold up rides.
were they drifters? Are we
No,
saying
not
there was? Are
not
we
no,
saying there was?
no. I mean, it was a case of that's their running style, and they might be running in a 15 runner handicap, which on paper look to have two or three front runners and be strongly run, and it was, but the front runners never came back. So they'd be finishing from off the pace to finish fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, whatever, maybe getting beaten between 5 and 10 lengths, but that was a very good effort in the circumstances.
Yeah,
And, yeah,
ideal. Well done, Andrew's column on that gg.co.uk. Not to be missed. Even if they don't win, you'll get some very good insight into the way his brain works, even at this time of the morning when we're recording this. Um, So this week, this is the I've called this. We started off with it worked in the 80s, so I've called it horse racing. Now it's a horse racing 13, Andrew. We've done this is the
right.
13th one, and I've read your what you're going to talk about today. There was a tweet that inspired you to delve into this sort of theory. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, there was a tweet regarding wind operations, and the tweeter in question had suggested laying a couple of horses recently because they were odds on their first start back after a wind operation, and both of them got beat. One was second, one was fourth. So I thought, well, that's an interesting angle. I've done loads of research over the years on wind operations, and but I don't think I've looked at them by price. So I thought I'd use that as the basis for this article. Yeah, just wind operations. They just get flashed up in the Racing Post with a W1 or some form publications like Proform do have WS1 for first run after wind surgery. And although there's different types of wind operation, very minor one, um, probably sort of on a scale of 1 to 5, you'll get a sort of a minor sort of operation on a scale of one, and you'll get a sort of 4 or 5 grand from the vet in Bristol that Paul Nichols uses to cure some serious wind issues. And we don't know sort of what type of wind operation these horses have. They all get classed as the same one, but yeah, there's some interesting stats that pop up. And so we've only had this information since I think it was the 28th of January 2018 when wind operations had to be declared in Britain. If horses are running in Ireland, they don't have to declare wind surgery. Although if Willie Mullins brings one across to the Cheltenham Festival that's had a wind up since its last run, that will have to have the information included in the race card. So I remember when they first came about, a lot of trainers were moaning, and some punters were saying, "There's too much information. We don't need to know this." But it's been quite useful because there's some very profitable angles for backing first time and second time wind up horses.
I mean, in theory, the first time after a wind up, it can breathe properly for the first time in possibly God knows how many runs. So it should be a shoe in that as long as it's
Yeah,
fit and recovered
yeah,
from its ordeal.
although having worked with trainers and jockeys past and present on William Hill Radio and Racing Post TV and things like that over the years, the general consensus was that sometimes they need the first run back after the wind operation because they need a run to get used to being able to sort of breathe without difficulty at the business end of a race. It's almost like a shock to the system. Like they're expecting discomfort, and then they're fine. And so I remember coming up with a system back in the day where looking for horses who'd run well on the first run back after the surgery, perhaps finishing second, third, or fourth, and then backing them second time out. That worked in the short term, but 7 years later, with a lot more information, it's not a profitable system.
Okay, now you're a man that doesn't well, you delve in, don't you? You do a deep dive into the figures, so you will know
Yeah,
exactly how this works out.
it was very easy with the Proform software I use. So yeah, I looked at every single first time wind up horse in Britain who'd started at odds on using SP to define odds on, not Betfair SP. So basically, looking at horses who started at 11 to 10 on or shorter, and there was 179 of those, 106 won, 59.22% strike rate. And you made a loss at SP, -6.67 or -3.73% on turnover. Not a big loss, but at Betfair SP, you'd actually make a profit after 2% commission. Not a big profit, £2.15 pence or 1.2% on turnover. So really, they're kind of, pretty much running. They run slightly better than the market expects. You'd make a profit at BSP, but it's not really a viable sort of laying or backing system. I mean, this, again, it's a small sample size, 179. The next 20 of those could get beat, and it might look like the goose that laid the golden egg. But I would wouldn't recommend doing it blindly. I would have a look at the horse, have a look at the race, have a look at the trainer's record with first time Windop recipients, and maybe that will throw up other angles. But looking at wind ops in general, since they had to be declared back in January 2018, over 10,000 have had wind operations and 1,111 winners, and big loss at SP, over 2,100 quid, almost 21%. But you would actually make money backing them at Betfair SP. Again, not a lot, 0.82% on turnover profit. So yeah, they
That
do.
that hang on a minute, Andrew. We got that is pretty damning for the SP, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean that is what that's what we've been saying since they stopped returning the SP from the racecourse. There's such a massive swing around like that.
yes, that's yeah,
That just shows punters how they are absolutely getting rogered,
yeah. And
even the
again,
short ones.
particularly in these this winner might return at 33 to 1 or 25 to 1 in a sort of 22 runner Cheltenham handicap. But of course, the Betfair SP is about 67.54 or something like that, because they're priced defensively by the off course firms because of the extra places.
Hmm.
So I know you've written about that on more than one occasion.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, so the theory that and he wouldn't want us to mention it was Jerry. The theory, I mean, you wouldn't come to too much harm laying odds on favourites. Did you look into how odds on?
yeah,
Do you
well,
sort of
oh no, I see what you mean. As in, yeah, whether they were like 10 on as
yeah.
opposed to like 11 to 10 on. I didn't look at that. I lumped them all together. But yeah, that's
Well,
uh,
anyone that's got pro form can do that, can't they? If they
yeah,
really
that's
want to
right. And
have a check out.
it might be that between 6 to 4 on and 11 to 10 on, they have a terrible record. Another interesting, if you split them by race type, the odds on wind up recipients on the flat do a lot better than the jumps. On the all weather, it's 13 from 21. A profit at SP and Betfair SP. And on the turf on the flat, this is a good one, 14 winners from 19 runners who started odds on first time after a wind up on in flat turf races. Strike rate of almost 74%. £5.54 profit at SP, £7.08 at Betfair SP, again after 2% commission. So it might be that Jerry's barking up the wrong tree with the jumpers. And another angle as well is have a look at the some of the trainers as well. And it might be that certain trainers don't do particularly well. Certain trainers have got a great record, and Paul Nicol. I think the likely candidates who have lots of these wind up horses like Skelton and Nichols don't do as well as some of the smaller trainers. So it might be a case of laying odds on Nichols runners first time back after a wind up is more profitable than a Neil Mulholland or someone like that.
I suppose if you've got a smaller trainer that's got a horse that needs a wind up, they're going to be. I don't know. I suppose they all care for them the same, but you thought they'd probably maybe nurture it back to the peak fitness before running it, or
Yeah, and another angle to look at generally as well is that, as I mentioned previously, the second run after a wind operation. I did look at those that had finished second, third, or fourth, first time back at the surgery. That was a profitable angle in the early days. Then that profit dried up and turned into a loss. But generally, if you just back any horse, it's on its second start back after a wind operation. you'd have had over 9,000 bets, but the 1,079 winners, strike rate of just under 12%, would have returned a profit of 1,560 quid at Betfair SP, 17% on turnover. Again, you're sort of minus 1,500 quid at SP plus 1,500 quid at Betfair SP. So that's just backing any of them. Second run back after the surgery blind. You might find that they pulled up first time back. Maybe 3 miles on heavy ground. Next time, drop to 2.5 miles on good to soft, and bang, they pop up at a big price. So that's when you're looking at the results the day afterwards, and you're thinking, how the devil did that win? And you see, oh, it's first time blinkers, or it's first run for a new trainer. Second run after a wind operation might explain some of these slightly unfathomable results as well.
The best Betfair SP is still a thing that, even though everybody's saying there's no liquidity anymore, there's no money in there. I mean, you're looking at Betfair every day. What sort of money is there at the business end of the race?
A lot less than there used to be, but a lot more than there is at like 10 o'clock in the morning or the night before. I mean, it's amazing. I bet one yesterday in a race at Kempton, Garcia, which is the 6:30 at Kempton on Wednesday, the 1st of October. Now, when I'm looking at Betfair, it's 11.5 to back and about 15.5 to lay. There's £1 there at 11.5. Now, I think at the time, Bet365 were 11 to 1. Three firms, including William Hill, were 10 to 1. And then all of a sudden, that 11.5, £1 has disappeared. Someone's taken it, or it's a bot that's removed it. And now the next best price is 10.5. So, so all those firms who price up tracking Betfair, even though there's nothing there, this is like 11 o'clock in the morning when the race is not off for another, 7 or 8 hours. They've cut their prices automatically from 10s into 9s because that £1 has disappeared, which is completely ridiculous and leaves the early markets open to massive manipulation. As it was, this thing opened up 8 to 1 on course, got backed into 11 to 2, and like all good each way bets, finished fifth, and got beaten a couple of. I was pleased with the bet because I didn't like the front three in the betting in the race. One of them was John Gosden in first time cheek pieces, which is a horrible angle, terrible strike rate, big loss. That was like 2 to 1 or 9 to 4 favourite. And as it was, there wasn't enough pace for my one, and the winners pretty much made all the seconds, sat in second throughout, and mine's a hold up horses never got into it. But I'm pleased with the bet. Got the price, closing line value, and all that. Amazing that these firms will just go from 10 to 1 into 8 to 1, 8 to 1 out to 12 to 1, depending whether there's £2 there on Betfair or not.
Mad, isn't it? How times have changed, eh? So in summary, then, Andrew, you're looking for horses that are running second time out after a wind up that finished first, second, third, or fourth.
Well, no, that was the original thing I looked at. That was no longer profitable. So what I did look at is I split it by last time out finishing position, and so I say you can back horses second time out of the wind up blind and make 17% at Betfair SP. But if you looked at the ones who finished fourth or first on their previous start, so they've come back from a wind up, they've finished out of the first 3. Next time out, 516 winners from 6,150 bets. That's decreasing the strike rate from 11.7 down to like 8.4%. But the profit goes up at Betfair SP, 1,754 quid, or 28.5% on turnover, because the market says, oh, they've had a wind operation, it hasn't worked, or it hasn't worked particularly well. They've finished unplaced. And when I wrote the article that's on your website to look at now, there were 2 running the following day, which was yesterday, one of those Elegant Call in the 4:18 at Catterick that got beat, and then Bathara in the 5 o'clock at Warwick on Wednesday, and that was I didn't look what price it was early, but it was 9 to 2 into 9 to 4 on the show, and that won. So it's worth having a look at these second time wind up horses. There's certain trainers who do particularly well on this angle. Neil Mulholland, 20 winners from 78 bets. Betfair SP profit of 48 quid. Jeremy Scott, Ollie Murphy, Nick Alexander. He's one that I've do like backing his second time wind up horses each way. They often place at big prices. So some of the trainers you perhaps wouldn't expect. Sort of Stuart Edmonds, It's not the Nichols and the Skeltons of this world that appear on that list. So again, that list is on the website, and might throw up someone's at a nice price this jump season.
Brilliant. Do you have to put the work in, Andrew, or is there a W2 on the form?
No,
Just
just
to know that
in pro form, you just put WS2, and it comes up with any horse who's had its having its second run back after a wind surgery.
but there's no at a glance on a race card. So
I
people
think,
actually have to do a bit of work.
yeah, I think on the
It's better actually because then
yeah,
you might be spotting something that nobody else has spotted.
yeah, I'm not sure on the Racing Post whether it comes up W2. I think it might do on the for example, looking at the 420 at Salisbury today, which I think is a race you're concerned with because Bucker
I'm
Bay's
going
running.
there today. Yeah,
Yeah,
for race share. Yeah.
yeah. There's one in that race, the Dragon King Clive Cox, which in your Racing Post will have W2 next to it. Second
Right.
run back after wind up. So again, this would be. So this came back from wind surgery, was sent off at 7-2, well backed, and it's only finished sixth. So that might be one that will run a better than expected race. It's say having gone off 7-2 last time, first time after the wind operation, finished sixth. It's now a 12-1 shot. Nibbled at from 14 second time back. So let's hope it doesn't break Bucker Bay into second.
Let's hope not. Yeah, 'cause it'd be nice if they have a winner there today.
Oh,
Okay.
I will just mention a couple more angles just on the first run back after wind surgery. Certain trainers do specialise in getting wins first time back. One of the good angles is Venetia Williams with her chasers. 17 winners from 52 bets. Nice profit of £62.53 at SP. A bit more at Betfair SP. And Nikki Henderson's an interesting one. You back every Henderson runner after a window. 44 winners from 195 bets, profit of £41.78 at SP, double that at Betfair SP. But when you break that down by month, it's the ones who've had a wind up mid-season that come back for a spring festival that do well. So if you bet them in the October 1 from 14, loss of a tenner at SP. In November, 6 from 34, minus £19.38. You're showing red all the way until you get to March and the Cheltenham Festival, and then Aintree in April. 10 winners from 42 in March and April, and a profit of almost 80 quid. So again, you're dealing with quite small sample sizes, but it's interesting that a lot of these Henderson horses that have had are rocking up in sort of November, making their reappearance after a winter operation, going off very short. That's not been a profitable angle. You'll get the occasional high profile one winning, but do beware of that. But when he has a 20-1 shot that's run poorly all season, first time back after a wind operation at Cheltenham or Aintree, that's when it's perhaps time to bet them.
Okay, brilliant. Well, if people have enjoyed this, and I'm sure if you're at Racing Form buffs, you have, please like and subscribe to the channel if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're watching it on my website, you're getting the full treatment because all Andrew's workings are there, all the charts and the facts and the figures and everything else. So once again, Andrew, thanks very much for your time. Good luck this week. If you want to see Andrew's free daily selections, it's at gg.co.uk. Elsewhere, Andrew, this week, any of your stuff?
Yeah, I'm doing the Weekend Watch YouTube channel and podcast for GG, which takes a look at Saturday's televised racing, and there's a lot of it. I'm sure we'll be touching on the ARC as well. So that's Kate Tracy presenting, me and Dave Young giving our two penneth worth. So that will be available probably Thursday night, that's tonight, or Friday morning to listen to on your way to work.
Brilliant. And with the Dragon Bet sponsored Chepstow National Hunt sort of opener next week, are you delving into that? You starting to concentrate on the jumps now?
Yeah, I did. I did an article. I do an angles column, sort of systems column for GG every Tuesday, and I did look at the record of Nigel Twiston Davis in October, which has been a profitable angle generally over the years, just with his hurdlers and chasers, and he's bound to target that Chepstow meeting as well. So that's something to look out for.
Brilliant. Okay, Andrew. Well, we'll probably catch up in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks very much again for your time. Tremendous, as always. Thank you.
Thanks, and good luck at Salisbury.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers. Hello everyone, just a quick one. If you have enjoyed these videos and are enjoying these videos, can you please like and subscribe to my channel? Thanks very much.